say, okay, we'll give you your first pick, but then we're going to get the next 2 strongest.
Exactly, and speaking of TSM, remember that game against CLG a while back where they're like, they're letting us have Karthus. There must be a reason. And they picked something else. It's the only non-Karthus TSM game we've had. But guys, we're into the game, of course, with Dignitas and Vulcun here. These guys fighting still. Vulcun to guarantee themselves a second place spot. Dignitas still very much in the battle for playoff position. I don't think they want to start off the week 0-2. It's not good for momentum. So the Ahri, the Evelynn, the Shen all dropped away from Vulcun. Vulcun dropping off Scarra's Kassadin, the Ezreal from Imaqtpie, and yes, they are going to ban away the Zed, gives away Elise.
So because, yeah, they aren't first pick, they're going to end up just banning that one off the table, but Elise, we talked about it before, very, very highly contested, and Crumbzz loves this champion.
And he's been playing it a lot recently, and there we go, the Zuna that we talked about, highly contested. The Zac was actually played by KiWiKiD last game, by Crumbzz otherwise earlier on in the week, so you know, contested picks stolen away on both sides, definitely.
And even though KiWiKiD got to play Zac with the revive passive, still dying a lot. Still
over 8 deaths.
Yeah, most deaths in the
Would have been 14
American LCS. We can't count every time the passive is popped. Also,
otherwise,
because that would just
3
make
times
it,
the number.
That would just make that would make it terrible.
Meteos KDA would drop by 7 or something. All right, instead though, 25 seconds still to go. Scarra discussing with his team what they want to go for. I always like reading the facial expressions, like, what are we going to go for here? Crumbzz gonna grab the Lee Sin and the support Fiddle coming back here for Patoy.
Very, very good choice here, I think. I love it when Patoy is on those playmaking champions with the heavy CC, because he is definitely one of the supports that sets up plays. He single-handedly can get your team kills. So great to have him on that Fiddlesticks, and we'll see if they go for one of those 2 versus 1 situations and actually try and take advantage of the kill potential.
Yeah, it's one thing that I've heard commented where his early landing's not the best. Darkwind's okay, but rank 1 Terrify doesn't do a heck of a lot, so Dignitas might just look for that 2v1 matchup here and see what kind of pushing they can have happen. Of course, with Crumbzz in the jungle, he can make tower dives happen pretty nicely as well. Of course, Vulcun still considering their last couple of picks right here. They've been hovering over Karthus for most of the time. I actually like that pick from mancloud. I think he's a very good Karthus. He's so mechanically good, he'll get just massive amounts of farm in that champion, and they are going to go for it, as well as this nice little Cataclysm Defile combo. I like that.
Yeah, they're locking up a lot of team fight power right here on the Vulcun side. They have so much area of effect. Most of their damage right now, almost all of it, is area of effect. And meanwhile, Dignitas are, again, they're a team that likes to use the slippery champions that make plays through dashes, and they've already chosen that again. Even their support with the ultimate does have a slight jump himself. So with the Lee Sin and the Elise, they're already very elusive champions, and they're going to be trying dodging, dipping, and diving, as Riv said, inside and out of all of these area of effect abilities that Vulcun are using.
Yeah, they got to dodge that ball, and of course, it's interesting to look at. There's always the chance that you Crow Storm into a Cataclysm, and you're like, thanks, Jarvan. You're feared, by the way, you can't turn it off. Please die real quick. Dignitas going to go back for Imaqtpie's favorite AD carry of Graves, and they're going to make their last pick here. The Gragas coming in for Scarra. That's a bit of a throwback.
This is actually one of the oldest counters to Karthus.
Yeah.
Way back in Season 1, Gragas used to be the go-to counter for Karthus because of the movement displacement from his ultimate. You just knock Karthus back, try and get him out of there. If you knock him all the way to the back lines, then you don't have to dodge all the Skittles here. You know, if you can dodge a lay waste, then you can dodge a ball.
We'll see if Dignitas has to taste the rainbow here against the Skittles of mancloud. They've got one more pick to come through here. Vulcun going for the last choice. It is going to be the Zuna. Why not? Worked last time. The Zuna Tristana taking down Turret's endgame. And by the way, speaking of late game team compositions, Tristana Karthus up there is one of the most happily 50-minute team comps.
I was going to say, right now we have very opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Dignitas are going very, very hardcore into this early game. They've got the Lee Sin for making plays very early, the Elise for making plays early. Graves, when he gets his Bloodthirster and Last Whisper, that's when he's at the maximum power potential for that champion, because he gets the most bang for his buck with flat AD scaling from his abilities and armor penetration. So if KiWiKiD does go with just that 2-item combo right there, they're going to hit an amazing spike in the mid game that they will have to press very hard on this Vulcun team, because, like we said, Vulcun just like to wait on that Tristana to get level 18, so they have the range to take down turrets, and they've got so much area effect that if we do get to the late game, it's going to be hard, no matter how many dashes you have on Dignitas, to be able to get through all that area of effect damage and take out Tristana.
We'll see if they can do it, of course. And you've got to think about as well what you do if you not only just push the Karthus back, but what if you knock someone into your team with Gragas? You've got a whole bunch of guys who like assassinating one dude. You've got Elise, you've got Lee Sin, you've got the 3-second fear from Patoy, and the Graves Burst. So there's good synergies both ways. The counter to Karthus and the synergy with a knock-in if they want it.
Right, it's just that the pick potential here for Team Dignitas is completely reliant on their skill shots. It's either the Cocoon from KiWiKiD's Elise or that ulti from Scarra's Gragas. So little bit chancy team here for Team Dignitas, whereas Vulcans seem like sort of a solid tank-like castle team with their very area effect-oriented champions.
All right, so we'll get ourselves into the game. And Dignitas, of course, versus Vulcun. An important battle here. Vulcun wins this. They get second place. Dignitas, they get this one, and they hold themselves a little bit closer into the playoff race. And one thing I wanted to point out while we were in the loading screen a second ago is the teams normally wear their own summoner icons, and all of Vulcun are wearing Vulcun icons. Dignitas, only Patoy's wearing one. KiWiKiD's actually wearing a Gambit icon. So showing some real team love here is Dignitas.
That's right. Spread the love around to the EU.
Anyway, they're going to go ahead and on forward. Look for the level 1s. KiWiKiD gets spotted out. Of course, spots the rest of Vulcun. Actually takes down those Spiderlings as well. So a little bit of a gold lead now for that Vulcun lineup. 30 gold picked up for Spiderling kills both those two Xmithie. So that man's going to be nice and happy.
So the Spiderlings in 310 did get a little bit squishier. Took out a lot of the health, but added in armor. So they do die a bit quicker, and even more quickly against people who bring armor penetration.
Okay, KiWiKiD is actually spamming some abilities right now, because I was thinking you only get Spiderlings back if you cast abilities in human form. And so he's got to cast some of those things and get the Spiderlings back. Otherwise, he's going to be just a little bit weaker at level 1. And they have to hit an enemy, by the way, so he can't even get them right now. He has to hit someone with W or he gets no Spiderlings. I don't know, I thought it was cute. If he was jungling, that would suck.
So the reason that he did start with the W, and that's what he was spamming, is because that spider will give you vision. And since his Spiderlings are dead, he can't pull the trick where if you change from human form into a spider, then your Spiderlings will spawn and walk around walls to give you vision. So he got W instead to be able to check bushes.
I did see them coming in, of course. Lost his little lings, but he'll be all right. Now, Vulcun, they're going to start things out pretty standard. They got some aggressive wards down, but they're going to go for their own lizard buff. But here is Dignitas trying something a little bit cute. They're going for Vulcan's blue buff, and only Sycho is here to defend it. This could be a steal for Dig.
So there's no smite in this blue buff war over here. So this is very interesting. Both of these sides actually have the potential to steal it away. KiWiKiD is the one tanking the golem, but Sycho Sid is not backing off here. He's trying to get down as much rest as he can. Patoy's doing work with those Fiddlesticks autos.
Autos hurting him bad. Unfortunately for Dignitas, they will not get the steal away until they bring in their own jungler. Meanwhile, Xmithie has his red buff, smites away, steals the blue, and there's Crumbzz. Crumbzz says, oh, that just happened.
He got the slow onto Xmithie, but it's only a level 1 Elise. No Cocoon available. They can't chase him down. Great job by Xmithie, grabbing up an extra buff.
3.4k on each side right here. Vulcun, a little bit of an early lead. There we go. See, they have a gold lead. Okay. Anyway, definitely some early good moves here for Vulcun. Scarra in the duel against mancloud. And they're actually holding pretty equal as well. I want to see... There we go. Yes. Crumbzz is moving his way over, trying to grab the enemy blue buff. But Xmithie's going to come down there as well. This is going to be a little bit of a fight, potentially.
And just want to say, the reason that Xmithie was able to get over there in the first place to get this buff discrepancy is because he is on that Jarvan, and he can use the flag toss combo to get over the back of that Baron wall. And that's how he's one of the very few champions that could get to that blue buff that quickly. But all of his efforts were in vain. Crumbzz does end up getting one back, and it's 2 buffs for each team.
2 buffs each. Good job, Dignitas, bringing their bottom lane over there, the duo lane, using them to support that one and making it still happen. So, no major buff advantage. However, Vulcun are sitting on still a bit of a gold lead. KiWiKiD, having to leave his lane so many times, has brought him a minion kill deficit against Zuna. It's 13-21, and a lot of turret pressure coming through.
So remember that fight over the blue buff at the start of the game? That's really where KiWiKiD lost out on the first bit of minions, because they spent so much time trying to contest that golem with Sycho Sid that it was actually bad for Dignitas, because KiWiKiD was losing out on minions during that whole time, and Sycho Sid wouldn't have been getting minions anyway, because he was going to a 1 versus 2 situation.
So good moves then by these Vulcun players. They've got themselves 300 golds. 300 golds, yes, 300 gold in the lead. And Xmithie right here actually lurking around, but the engage in the top lane, BloodWater taking a bit of damage. Crumbzz and KiWiKiD dropping some health bars, but Xmithie still looking for this gank.
He's been able to sneak his way in here, and Scarra does have his belly slam, so he's got the body slam to get out of this one.
And there's the knock-up onto Scarra. Half HP Skittles are landing. Scarra gonna have to walk his way back out, but the re-engage here in the top. Crumbzz, wow, dropped dangerously low thanks to Zuna's auto attacks, but still the harassment across in BloodWater, very low on mana, can't sustain much longer.
And Xmithie opting to go back to farm the jungle now. So in the lane power is currently in Dignitas' favor. They have a 2 versus 2 up top, whereas there's a 2 versus 1 down bottom, and that turret is going to start taking some extra damage.
This could be scary for these guys. There's KiWiKiD and Patoy dropping down the last of these minions right here. And now they've got lane control turret, still close to full HP, I should say, right now.
That extra armor, we've talked about it so many times.
Helping.
People are probably aware of the fact that the turrets have more armor now.
Did you know the turrets have more armor? Not sure if everyone's aware just yet.
8 minutes.
First 8 minutes, and KiWiKiD, of course, still trying to keep his alive. You notice that his turret, though, bonus armor or not, taking a heck of a lot more damage anyway, down to about 1/3, and another wave still coming through. So while Scarra's holding on well, KiWiKiD not so much.
I like this, the adaptation here, and you know, Zuna and BloodWater are doing a lot of work up top there. They're really making a push to get the first turret.
It's likely to fall soon unless they can get enough help from Crumbzz. That Lee Sin is making his way up. Maybe it'll happen right here. We still look at the mid lane sort of battle, and it's just a farm fest between these guys. They're just last hitting minions very, very well. 43 to 38. Good bit of gold coming in from these guys, and now Crumbzz on the defense. Will Zuna and BloodWater do enough damage? Meanwhile, Xmithie looks towards the bottom lane. KiWiKiD Patoy not having nearly the same success right here. Knockup comes by onto KiWiKiD. Cool that be enough. Oh, great fear on a Sycho Sid, stopping it from jumping in. Xmithie's gonna get out, but the re-engage in the top lane. Zuna forced to jump away. Repel used by KiWiKiD. Still no kills, just fights back and forth.
We are having brawling in both of these side lanes, but the timer is clicking in Vulcan's favor here. They are the more late game oriented team, and continuing to farm up like this, whether it's 2 versus 1 or 2 versus 2, is fine with Vulcan right now.
And mancloud now has hit level 6, and Scarra's explosive cast is on cooldown. So there's a chance here that the side lane fight can happen. The hardcore dive comes in, and Requiem just seals the deal. See if Vulcan can do it.
Having that extra global damage there from the Karthus will be huge. But again, the roaming from Scarra was what made people ban Gragas against him back in Spring Split. This was one of his main champions. People forget, because he stopped playing it for so long, because people were banning against him, that this was what was initially so fearful about Scarra as a mid laner. He would shove that lane, and then he'll roam either top or bottom to create plays.
But speaking of roaming, look at the pressure now by Vulcan onto the blue buff of Dignitas. Xmithie and mancloud already onto this one. Looks like it's gonna be just grabbed here. Xmithie smiting to make sure no one steals that one away. But now he's maybe in a bit of a rough spot. Scarra could get a collapse onto him.
Xmithie completely out-jungling Crumbzz right here. Kept the timer on that blue buff that he was able to steal away, and immediately was there to take it back. Not only did he get the blue buff, but they also drew KiWiKiD and Crumbzz away from the turret, allowing Zuna and BloodWater to finish that one off. So first objective down, Vulcan are on a good path right here.
Absolutely beautiful play by them. First turret, more buffs controlled, and a 1,500 gold lead. Vulcan, again, we talked about how good their early game was and how they kind of crushed on Cloud9 early on. They're doing the exact same here to Dignitas. Maybe not 3 kills at level 1, but certainly an early game lead as Crumbzz just has to take his own red buff in sadness.
Well, you can definitely see that's what everyone's talking about, the importance of timing all the buffs and the objectives on the map, so you can make those players that. It's only a few seconds as a jungler that make the difference between a huge level like that, because if you're able to steal away a buff, that's the difference between level 5 Crumbzz and level 6 Xmithie.
Definitely a lead for him right here, and it's really the only guy who's, I think, keeping up is Scarra. You look at 42 to 48 with a lost turret. That's KiWiKiD versus Sycho Sid. You look at Zuna versus Imaqtpie. Big lead for Zuna. Already has his BF sword and a 14-kill lead as well. So again, that turret that he took down a little while ago. It's only Scarra holding up, and that's kind of what happened in the Curse game. And he almost carried it, but it's a tough thing for Dignitas.
Yeah, with the lane phase going this well for Vulcun, scared of what this game will look like in 10 minutes, because they actually even have control of Dragon right now. They've got plenty of wards up, and the move from Dignitas will have to be to pick someone off. Dignitas need to grab a kill in one of these side lanes.
Well, they're looking for it with Crumbzz right now. He's lurking around in the shadows. No ward spot him actually at all right now. There's actually very little ward coverage here to see him. However, it's the Sycho Sid versus KiWiKiD battle. KiWiKiD not in the best place. Ult comes off. Good flash dodges away. Ignites burden on both sides. Sycho Sid not going to win that battle, but there comes the Requiem. Goodbye to KiWiKiD. First blood picked up. And there's the revive for Sycho Sid.
And Scarra actually had just roamed down in the river. The other reason that Gragas is picked against Karthus is because you can ulti him away when he's channeling the Requiem, but mancloud backs off into the lane, can't see him anymore, and Scarra just makes a little walk around the mid there. Nice little circle, doesn't get anything done.
Very well played, and now a pink ward as well for Xmithie. So we talked about Dragon Control, much stronger now as well for the Vulcun lineup. He even tosses the flag in Tribrush, spots Crumbzz, I think, with it. It says, hey guys, Lee Sin's waiting around, but if you guys want, we can take down Dragon soon.
Yep, pink ward down on that one. Oh, the crescendo saves Zuna.
Flash attempt there, KiWiKiD forced to burn his barrier, but
whoa!
Oh, Zuna close attempt. Will Lee Sin go in? Crumbzz looks for it. Barrier pop now here as well. Crumbzz losing a lot of HP. There's the terrified KiWiKiD. Sniper that one away. The Crowstorm coming across, forcing Flash away from BloodWater. But that's still an engage that went well for Dignitas. Scarra and... That's all I needed to say.
I was gonna analyze that fight down bottom, but you were so intent on this this meeting of the Gragas and Jarvan there in the middle. It did come down to a nice couple slaps there for Xmithie with a stick, but no big damage gonna go down to Scarra. Really though, I wanted to talk about that bottom lane. That actually it transitioned into this Dragon, but it was a great play by BloodWater that didn't quite finish off KiWiKiD. Yeah. And in those situations, sometimes it's more harm than good, because Zuna's sort of quote-unquote baited in by BloodWater's nice play there to almost kill KiWiKiD. Then he overextends, flashes, barriers, and dies.
And Crumbzz had actually stayed around, even though he got spotted by Xmithie's flag. He was like, no, I'm just going to chill here. I'm still expecting the flash crescendo, or just the crescendo as it were. Sycho Sid, they're going to look to re-engage a little bit against Kiwi. No, I'm just going to keep his turret alive, so Vulcun just sitting at this 2,000 gold lead. Of course, they had first blood, first turret, first dragon. Scarra tasting the rainbow here, though. mancloud dropping his health bar.
Yeah, you talked about how good mancloud is at Karthus, and in the early game, you see that manifest by the CS numbers. He's definitely done his job. He's got the most in the entire game here, and that is very scary. He's rushed the Rod of Ages, which will be at full strength around that 20-minute mark. So he is ticking up very nicely here.
He's already had it for 2 minutes so far. You're right, 20 minutes, almost exactly the marker here. Mandatory Cloud just last hit of some minions, why the heck not? Sycho Sid though still picking a battle with KiWiKiD. Remember, this turret has already gone down, so Sid can just go right back in. Requiem is available, remember. Sid though still diving forward, gets cocooned in the face. Bit of damage from KiWiKiD. Here comes the jump in. Good repel, but he's got nowhere to go. Sycho Sid re-finds Kiwi, dropping the health bar lower and lower. Here comes Crumbzz though. Requiem comes across. Will it be enough? Sycho Sid likely to fall over, but it is going to be a trade. 1 for 1 here. Good re-engage by Dignitas.
So Dignitas, they did have to commit their jungler to that though, which means that there's a discrepancy down bottom. It's going to be 3 versus 2 here. Xmithie goes in.
Flash engage does not quite land onto Imaqtpie. Good attempt though. Patoy was forced to flash away from that one. So still a 3 for 2. The crescendo also still available. And Vulcun forced Dignitas off of that bottom turret. So this could be 2 turrets now picked up for Vulcun if nothing happens.
Crumbzz now making his way. Q's over to the golems, but it's very, very close here.
Now it's a little bit tenuous. The turret down only to about 200 HP right there, but does survive. Good job, Crumbzz, showing up for his team. Vulcun still showing interest, though. They're sticking around as Crumbzz just takes down double golems. Looks like there's still going to be a 3v3 for the structure.
Now, we ragged on KiWiKiD a bit in the opening of this, but he's been doing an outstanding job. Yes, he did go down there, but they were able to get all of that extra damage onto the turret down bottom because the jungler was drawn up top. And again, with the Requiem from Mandatory Cloud, they did trade the kills.
And they did. So, Imaqtpie, here we go. Taking damage. Of course, Crumbzz waiting around. This is just the push for this turret. They're still around. You saw Scarra roam for a second, but come back up. Vulcun and the rest of the team, they're just still pushing down this turret under siege, and that will be Dignitas giving up the structure. Good job by Vulcun, holding everyone there and saying, look, we'll get it eventually, and there we go. All
right, so Vulcun do end up getting that turret. And again, KiWiKiD has gone to a little bit deep in that top lane. Sycho Sid has not hesitated every time his ulti comes back up to fully engage with KiWiKiD. So another 2 seconds, and he'll have that one available once again.
Alrighty, so good pickups here. Let's see what's up next. Sycho Sid, yeah, he wants to keep fighting KiWiKiD. 92 to 94 in minions. Very similar builds from these guys as well. Some extra magic resist, some magic penetration, and magic resist. These guys definitely knowing who they are brawling in these battles. Xmithie hasn't stolen a buff now in a little while. The red buff just a second ago did go to Crumbzz. Xmithie just getting his own as well right here. So a lot of the pressure actually from Vulcun seems to have toned down.
Scarra was actually heading over there to try a sneaky little red buff steal with the combo, but doesn't quite get there in time. So there's no action right there, and Xmithie is able to secure his own red. Meanwhile, we haven't seen a lot of action here. Scarra roaming down towards Mandatory Cloud, though.
No, not finding anything. These guys are just, they're playing the slow game. I mean, it's Vulcun who are the team that are in control, and it's funny because you look at, it's like the Curse versus Dignitas game, right? You've got a team who's like, man, we're going to scale so well, but we're not engaging on you, right? KiWiKiD jumps in, but easy escape for Sycho Sid. It's like, Vulcun can wait around 25 minutes and just be like, yeah, it's 6-item Karthus Ristana. So, like, they don't have to push, they just occasionally are.
They do have Requiem, though, right now, so fighting this 2 vs 2 up top would definitely be in Vulcan's favor because they've got the extra damage.
And there we go, Crumbzz dodging back, kicking away the Zac as well. Well played there by Crumbzz, trading ultimates and getting a decent trade out of that one. Scarra just holding here, got a farm under his turret, easy minion kills for him. There we go. All right, the minion's still coming on through. It's just the farm game. These guys, Dignitas haven't quite found the openings they're looking for. Crumbzz has been trying his hardest to look for openings in ganks. And Vulcun, they're just kind of immune to getting ganked. They're just not falling over in these. They're the ones forcing the trades. Otherwise, as you said, the timer goes in Vulcan's favor. They're just waiting around.
Yeah, and one of the main point forcing those trades has been, you know, Sycho Sid up top on that Zac, rushing the Spirit Visage. Let's just talk about how perfect of an item Spirit Visage is for Zac.
Okay.
Every single thing that's on that item is exactly what Zac wants. He's going up against Elise, so magic resist helps him in the laning phase. Plus, it's going to help him later because it's a dual AP team. Okay. And then he gets the increased self-healing. Zac is one of the champions in the game that has quite possibly the most self-healing of any champion because of the bloblets that he's constantly picking up. And cooldown reduction scales his damage here, but we're going to have an action bottom. KiWiKiD having to run for his life from Xmithie.
Flash in from Zuna. Oh, the barrier, but here comes the Requiem.
Oh!
Goodbye, KiWiKiD. Kill picked up. That has been every kill for Vulcun. Has been, let's push, lots of damage. And Requiem.
He wanted to take the blue pill. There we go. Crescendo only hits Crumbzz.
And the knockback onto Zuna. Look at the damage output there. Poor little Yordle trying to run away. Good barrel by Scarra. Another 1-for-1. Doesn't quite land the body slam, but will they keep chasing? Xmithie and BloodWater. One's low on health, one's low on mana. The flash! Nice pickup there for the slow, with the re-engage on a Patoy. The dunk as well. Xmithie's gonna pick that one up, but that is traded back. Another 1-for-1 here, but that has allowed mancloud to push down the mid lane. Now Scarra with a bit of a mana bar, looking for BloodWater. BloodWater now out of mana, lands a barrel. Scarra, can you land the body slam? Not quite.
Oh, it's hard to run in heals, but he's got Mandatory Cloud.
He's trying to float away. Can he? And he's body blocking. Look at Mandatory Cloud. Body blocking Scarra, not allowing the jump in, but look at Sycho Sid versus KiWiKiD. That's the health bar difference. Almost has the damage to flash away. The flash W does, he cast it too short. No! No! KiWiKiD, no! Oh, does not pick up Sycho Sid. That Spiderling was not the best.
Mandatory Cloud just saving everyone on his team right now, coming to the rescue. What a hero. First save Zuna. She probably doesn't even have heals under there. She's floating. Can't really tell. But he also saves the mini Zac over on top. There goes the ulti from Scarra.
Doesn't quite land on Zuna though, doesn't knock him into the team. Nice try, just a little bit misaimed. And that's not going to be too much more picked up here. Vulcun are winning in kills now for the first time in a while, 5-4. Of course, turrets have still been their game, but Dignitas, they're feeling good enough. Again, this could be theirs.
All right, the 5 vs 5 fight is actually going to go down before. Here, Crumbzz wants to finish this dragon. He's sitting the Q on it, but he misses the smite. Xmithie with the steal.
Xmithie takes it away, and there's Sycho Sid jumping on in. KiWiKiD so low on health, forced to jump up. Crumbzz now alone. Sycho Sid kind of holding on the rest of the team. Kill picked up there for Zuna, and here's the chase. KiWiKiD drops down to ignite. Sycho Sid finds another for his team. 2 for 0, as well as 2 for 0 on Dragons. Vulcun well in control.
Xmithie right there, again, with a beautiful smite steal. Crumbzz, he was waiting around for the combo with the Resonating Strike and the smite, but he couldn't wait long enough because it was going to time out. Everyone stopped hitting the dragon, so he was forced to back off there. And Xmithie just came in with a beautiful steal.
Good job then by Xmithie, making everything happen. Of course, the blue buff going over to Scar on the side, but Vulcun with a lot of control. Will they keep pushing in for this turret? Looks like they're going to. Xmithie, BloodWater, Zuna, they've been together for a lot of this game, actually. A lot of the pressure has been these 3 champions, and look how fast that turret's going down, but they've got to be careful. The rest of Dignitas are showing up.
They got 5 members chasing him. Crumbzz lands the slow.
The Crescendo using the top side as well, trying to get away from Scar, but the explosive cast is still there. There's the push on forward. Barrel roll off into BloodWater. BloodWater does not have flash available. Will they need to push in more? mancloud showing up to defend the team. There's a knockback into mancloud. He burns exhaust though. Scar's got to be careful. Crumbzz low HP as well. Lee Syndra puts him across the map, and there's 2 kills picked up. Beautiful job right here. But the Requiem, will it be enough? Crumbzz puts on the shield. He still goes down. mancloud is massive, but it's a 2 for 1 still in Dignitas' favor.
And the danger's still there. There's a spider waiting in that bush. Zuna and Xmithie still have to run.
KiWiKiD looks for a bit more, doesn't quite find it. 2 for 1 Dignitas. Sycho Sid on cleanup duty now, pushing this top lane, and no one from Dignitas actually is here to stop him. But still good things for Vulcun, honestly. They lose a fight, but they keep pushing.
Yeah, he was up there the whole time pushing away, but missing that tank really did hurt Vulcun, and it's a small step for Dignitas in the right direction. They got a little bit of gold back, and they just have to stop the actual tower from going down, and it'll be worth it.
It looks like, yeah, it's going to survive with just a little bit of health bar left. Of course, the rest of Dignitas able to keep the farm going. I want to take a look back at the AD carries because Zuna, well, sorry, actually let's start with Imaqtpie. You talked about the Bloodthirster, like the last Whisper coming in, the early burst damage. He's got that Bloodthirster done. He had a full completed item. Has a Zeal as well, so that's kind of nice. Zuna only just now has finished his Infinity Edge, so suddenly now Zuna's got a big spike in power. He can start contributing a little bit more to the fights. That could be an even better thing for Vulcun.
Yeah, Infinity Edge on Tristana, extremely scary because Zuna actually does max that rapid fire second right after his explosive shot. So he's only got 1 more point into it, which gives him so much attack speed to go along with that, the extra crit there.
A very scary explosive urinal indeed. And it's going to be all kinds of terrifying, I would say, for Dignitas, despite the fact that they're the one with fiddlesticks. Zuna jumping in. There's a knockback on a mancloud. That's exactly what Scarra wanted. Look at the damage output coming across. 1 more hit to go. mancloud finally falls over, but Jarvan is helping. Look at the just surround there. Scarra has nowhere to go. Shutdown goes to Xmithie. 2 for 1 as Imaqtpie died in the bottom lane. Zuna and BloodWater making good things happen.
Oh, Scarra was the one person on Dignitas who did not want to die because he had that 500 gold bounty. It was already maxed out on him. He was the one racking up the kills, and Xmithie actually is able to claim that one.
And of course, the secondary turret did go down as well. Forcing the flash from Patoy. Nice jump in from Sycho Sid roaming out of his lane. Forcing summoners away. BloodWater rejoining the team as well.
And Zuna's knocking on the bottom inhibitor turret door.
And this is so massive. Only Patoy showing up. Finally, KiWiKiD as well. There's a sound. This could be rough. Zuna, can you jump away? There he does jump away. All right. So survives just barely. Almost was in Terrify range. That could have been scary.
and Vulcun are just going to continue to pressure this lead in because they had such a good laning phase with such a late game team. They're feeling extremely confident. This is all going according to game plan here. Now all they have to do is continue to have Zuna split pushing side lanes and ward up with BloodWater. As long as he wards up that bottom side of the jungle, Tristana is an amazing split pusher for an AD carry. Not only does he have great wave clear with explosive shot, but he's got 2 forms of disengage with the ulti and the rocket jump.
Beautiful stuff. Ooh, nice steal right there. That's going to be Xmithie taking that one away. But of course, as a team set up around the map, we do have a replay, of course, of that beautiful Tristana kill on Imaqtpie.
Red buff Zuna goes in. He's definitely one of the most aggressive ADs, rocket jumping forward a lot, and BloodWater also helping with the extra slow power chord.
And the slow power is so good for these guys, of course. Vulcun still strangling the map, almost 10,000 gold in the lead for these guys. The rest of Dignitas kind of on the back foot. See what they can do to turn this game around. They've been looking for those Gragas picks, but they just haven't really found one in a while now.
And the clock is really ticking here. We've got Mandatory Cloud sitting on not only the Rod of Ages, which is already fully stacked, but almost a fully stacked Archangel Staff and an extra needlessly large Rod. He is about to just shoot his AP through the roof here, and we already saw how much damage it did to Crumbzz in the last time he used it. It's going to be pretty much destroying the entire team of Dignitas here, so they're going to have to pull out some picks on the side lanes of the map to get back in this one.
And of course, there's a good chance that needlessly large Rod becomes Zhonya's and no longer becomes pickable. It's like, yeah, you want to knock me in for Defile for 3 more seconds? That'd be nice. I'd appreciate that. So, good luck, Dignitas. Seems like the picks for Vulcun have done very well for them so far. Scar, though, at least will be continuing to wear that blue buff. He's standing on a ward. There's a good chance he gets to take it anyway. There we go. Blue buff for Scar. He's going to keep his cooldowns nice and low. Max CDR thanks to the blue and Chalice. But Vulcun, they've been doing it all game. They've been controlling the map. And now this dragon is going to continue to be theirs. That I believe makes number 3 or 4. So they're just not giving anything up. They're 4-0 on turrets. They're up in kills. They're up everything.
Yeah, congratulations, Scar, on the blue buff because Xmithie wasn't there this time. They did have the timer, though. The reason he wasn't there is because they were grabbing Dragon.
Yeah, I think I'd take that trade if I were Vulcun.
And they immediately send Zuna back to the bottom lane. He actually, if he had hesitated a little bit there and KiWiKiD had gone to farm that wave first, Zuna would have gone into dual KiWiKiD.
But now here's the rest. There's no wards in the bottom jungle that spots the rotation from mid into the bottom lane. So Zuna is actually pretty blind to any rotations Dignitas pulls in here. He's got to rely on the other champions being spotted in the lanes. Otherwise, he's unsafe.
He doesn't wear his glasses anyways. If there are wards, they probably wouldn't see him.
He's so far forward, he can't even see down to the bottom right corner.
He has gone with a different item build than usual, though. He is just one of the biggest proponents of that Blade of the Ruined King on almost all AD carries.
Yeah.
He's actually opted for the Infinity Edge Phantom Dancer combo this time, which just means his late game damage is going to be even more insane than usual.
In case they needed the help. Well, Vulcun still on the push. You're seeing Sycho Sid now, Sunfire Cape completed, and making his way down, gets the secondary turret in the top lane. That makes it 5-0. Of course, we'd already seen the bottom lane fall down as well, where Zuna is just kind of habitating.
And because Vulcun are still splitting like this, you know, the reason they're splitting is because they're so confident in their lane phase. They've been winning each one so easily that they don't have to group up yet. But it does open up the small possibility here for Dignitas to make a play on one of these split-pushing side lanes and pick somebody off.
And you were seeing them move down right there. You actually saw Patoy try to jump in, but Xmithie was already there to play defense, so unfortunately no rotation kill for Dignitas. But Zuna inhabiting that bottom lane was putting some good pressure on a KiWiKiD. That inhibitor turret down about to half HP. That's going to make things very rough for Dignitas. They're still losing their base to this slow and steady Tristana push.
They're not going to change plans here. Trying to keep up the pressure. They actually send Xmithie down there to throw the flag for a little bit of extra attack speed for Zuna.
And Xmithie getting chased down right now. KiWiKiD has the red buff. Crumbzz comes in as well, lands another slow onto Xmithie. Zuna using Buster Shot to get away. The dash away from Xmithie as well. Vulcun are still giving Dignitas some deference, saying, yeah, you do have team fights. We got to be a little careful. And
they hold on to the crescendo that fight. They didn't even have to blow the cooldown. That was the disengage from Tristana that we talked about, where he's so strong at split pushing, and Xmithie on Jarvan is so mobile, they're able to pull back, so they don't end up paying for that split pushing style that they were using, and Dignitas let them slip through their fingers here.
And also, there's a Mikhail's Crucible done now for BloodWater, so we can remove that 3-second fear off the choice target, whether it's mancloud, whether it's Zuna, anyone they really care about. He can drop the Terrify off. And that just is another thing going well for Vulcun. Part of that's because of their global gold lead.
That just frees up Zuna to build full offense here. Because even if he gets ulted aside by Scarra, he's got the rocket jump. And he'll be able to reposition one time in the fight. It looks like they're just going to pull back. They've already cleared out this Baron. So it can go down without Dignitas ever knowing.
Look how fast it's dying as well. Zuna with the rapid fire last hits that one. Xmithie spending a little bit early. And of course, the damage output of Karth is very high as well. But now, the Baron being worn on Team Vulcun, complementing their nice red health bars so nicely with that purple. And they're going to move on towards the Dignitas base. The secondary middle turret, the only Tier 2 standing.
Vulcun looking so scary now. The playoffs are going to be very exciting because not only are they just crushing Dignitas right now, but they beat Cloud9 again. So if someone's going to be giving Cloud9 a run for their money, I think it will be Vulcun here during the playoffs. I'm definitely looking forward to that fight.
Teams are definitely looking very good. Vulcun especially, of course. You see them still continue that tri-lane push, and it's funny to think back in the spring split when Dignitas was so dominant. That was kind of how they were winning games. We got a big early game lead, a lot of good ganks. Let's push all the lanes until something cracks.
Well, this is a strategy that you can only use when you're winning that big. You can't pull one of these, push all the lanes, unless your composition are all champions with massive disengage that can just escape. You have to be winning all of these lanes for this to work, because everyone is pushing their minion waves up to the turrets to keep vision of Dignitas and keep them inside their base. The cocoon misses, so Sycho goes crazy again.
A lot of damage coming out there, waiting right on top of where the cocoon had landed. KiWiKiD dropped dangerously low, and if you want, just go for Requiem. Goodbye, KiWiKiD. Another kill picked up in the same way as before. 5-2-2 mandatory Cloud, and KiWiKiD gets the blue buff. Scar misses the ult. He has to dash over the wall. mancloud nice and low on HP, but the re-engage coming across from Sid. mancloud had popped his shield, gets kicked away by Crumbzz. He will not be part of this fight anymore, but Sycho really wants blood right here. KiWiKiD just gets chunked down right there. Bottom lane turret goes down to the duo lane, and ooh, the flash from Crumbzz keeps him alive. Sid still walking forward. Finds Scarra. Xmithie, can you have the damage? Yes, you can. Another kill picked up. 3 for 0. And a lot of turrets going down.
Sycho and Mandatory Cloud just beat the entire team of Dignitas. The 3 members of Vulcun were just down bottom, shoving in that bottom lane. It was just Sycho and Mandatory Cloud bullying everyone right there.
Total
this
bosses.
Is definitely over.
This is look at that. They've got 5 people hitting the turrets. They've got minions there as well. In 32 minutes, this is going to be Vulcan's game. Almost flawless victory. 0 turrets. Sycho's just like spamming emotes at this point. Just going for the twist, doing some dance moves. That's going to be the Nexus falling over. Vulcun securing second place. They are into Season 4. They've got a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Congrats to Vulcun.
Well deserved, too.
Yeah.
They really came out big today. Both of those games were decisive, very well executed, and quick.
Yeah, the execution, I think, is a good... mancloud doing his best Zac impression right there. That's actually pretty well done. I want to see him cosplay as Zac in one of the games, pull a Shushei from Season 1. I think that'd be good. And there's Dignitas. KiWiKiD always with a smile on his face, always has fun playing the game. He's like, yeah, well played, guys.
Not quite the hair flip we're looking for this time.
But it also does move Dignitas now half a game away from Curse. If Curse wins their showdown tomorrow, they'll actually have tied Dignitas for, I believe, 5th. And, of course, also Dig still only 2 games away from Coast as well, if Coast wants to make their jump back up in the standings. So game still meaning a lot. So Vulcan's safe. Dignitas, they got some things to worry about.
Yeah, Vulcun and Cloud9 are still feeling pretty good today. Everybody else, very much worried, very much scrambling. Nobody else is really happy with their spot right now. They definitely want to continue to keep up the quality of games in the rest of the Super Week.
Yeah, you want to move up as far as possible, want to keep the wins up there. Not only feel good and have momentum and be one of the teams that people are afraid of, but just to have the better seeding into the playoffs, right? Coming in into 3rd place just is better than coming in 6th. I just feel it's got to be the case because I'm clearly the stronger team. Get a better opponent. Now, guys, we've got to take our last break of the day, but when you return, we'll be joined by Vulcan's BloodWater and mancloud to talk about locking down second place. I'm good at reading second place. And then we'll break down the best plays of day 1 from Super Week and update the standings heading into the last 14 games of the summer. Don't go anywhere.